Welcome to Computer Networks Lab. In this video, I'm going to discuss sliding window protocol. Sliding window protocol is nothing but a protocol used in network communication. As you've seen in the previous video regarding stop and wait protocol. Stop and wait protocol has one drawback, which is nothing but sender has to wait until, for example, like sender is sending frame 1, okay, and that has to reach the receiver, okay. Then for that frame the receiver has to give an acknowledgement. Until then he cannot send the second frame, that is frame 2. So what is happening, the time taken to send the frames, okay, whatever the frames that is present in the sender, to send it to the receiver, it is taking time. So one at a time only the frame can be sent. So in order to overcome that problem, so they gone with the another protocol that is called a sliding window protocol. In this protocol, you can send more than one frames at a time. And why the name sliding window means, after sending more than one frames, or one frame you can send, or more than one frame also you can send, after that the window will be slided. What is that window sliding? So for that, I'll give an explanation. So you can see, like on the slide, that there are two windows. One is called as sender window, another is called as receiver window. Whatever you are seeing on the slide is a sender window. Okay, here you can see that it is divided into four parts. One is towards the left, frames already acknowledged, meaning that your 30, 13, 14, 15 frame, 13th frame, 14th frame, and 15th frame is already sent to the receiver. For that, acknowledgement is received by the sender. That is the meaning of that one. Next, the second part is the frame that is sent but not acknowledged, meaning that the frame is sent now, but for that frames it is not acknowledged. Whereas the third one, the frame that can be sent, okay, that can be sent means once you receive the acknowledgement for this frames, that is, for example, if I want to show you, so once you receive the acknowledgement for 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, okay, then only you can, once you get the acknowledgement for all these frames, then only you can send the next frames, that 7 to 14. Okay, and the last one is the frames that cannot be sent until this completes. Okay, and you can see the window size is mentioned here. Okay, so don't go in detail. It is not required to go in detail for your lab, that is sliding window protocol. So just a overview, you can see this one. Now what happens here, now as I told you, sliding window, it slides the window. So you can see here, suppose for example you consider, I told you this protocol can send frames more than one at a time. So assume that it has sent frame 0, okay, then it has sent frame 1, then it has sent frame 2. So totally 3 frames. Okay, so frame 0, frame 1, and frame 2 has been sent by the sender. Okay, now receiver will receive that frame. Okay, receiver will receive that frame, or in another term, if I want to tell, means assume that this is an size of the window. Okay, so send window, this is the entire size. So before that, okay, assume like that. So what happens here, so assume that frame 0 is sent, frame 1 is sent, and frame 2 is sent. Okay, and 3, 4, 5, 6 also you can send, no issues. Okay, 3, 4, 5 is also I can send. But what happened, at the receiver he has sent the acknowledgement for 0, acknowledgement for 1, acknowledgement for 2. Okay, meaning that he has sent the acknowledgement for frame 0, frame 1, frame 2. But how many frames you have sent? You have sent more than one frame, that is 0 to 6 you have sent. But receiver has received the frame. Once he receives the frame, he has sent the acknowledgement for only frame 0, frame 1, frame 2. Okay, that is receiver's wish. So he has sent the acknowledgement for this 3 frames, 0, 1, 2. So what happens, the sender sliding window will be slided by 3 positions. So it will be slided by 3 positions, 1, 2, 3. Okay, it is slided by 3 positions. So you can see here previously SF was pointing at 0. Now SF is pointing at 3 here. Okay, so you can see now you can see the meaning of sliding window. It is your sender sliding window will be slided by the number of positions. So how many positions? It depends on the acknowledgement you receive from the receiver. Okay, so since you got the acknowledgement for only for 3 frames 0 1 2, so it is slided by 3 positions only. Suppose if you got the acknowledgement for 0 1 2 3 4 5 6, all these frames, your this SF would have been pointing at this point. Okay, you will be pointing it. So this would have become your SF. Okay, this would have become SF. Okay, hope you got. I think this is called a sender sliding window. Okay, similarly, you can see the receiver sliding window. Just for knowledge purpose, just remember, but we are not discussing related to this in your program. So receiver sliding window will slide by only 1 positions. Remember, sender sliding window can slide more than 1 positions, whereas receiver sliding window will slide by only 1 position. Okay, here you can see previously what I told, you got the acknowledgement for 0, 1 and 2. What is the next frame that is expected? The next frame expected is, you can see here, that is indicated by RN. So it says that receive window is expecting the next frame. Okay, here also it is divided into 3 parts, 1, 2 and 3. So this frames 13, 14, 15, 0, 1, 2, the frames already acknowledged, received and acknowledged, received and acknowledged. And this one, this 3, number 3 frame is yet to be received by the sender. Okay, that is the frame that is expected. Okay, these frames that cannot be received until the window slides. That is the meaning. Now you can see here, once the 3rd frame is received. Okay, once the 3rd frame is received from the sender, now RN will be slided by 1 position. So this says that it is expecting next frame, that is 4. Okay, so this you need to know about sliding window protocol. Now we'll just enter into the program. Okay, so sender sliding window. So before that, what I'll do means I'll give a simple, I'll consider a small network. You'll understand that one. Small network considering a source and destination, or you can say it as sender here. Okay, and here you have receiver. Okay, and there is a connection between the sender and receiver, between sender to receiver and from receiver to sender. You know for what purpose it is. Okay, it is already explained. Okay, now what happens means, now as I told you, sender can send more than 1 frame. So more than 1 frame. Now it can send more than 1 frame, depends on the window size. Okay, depends on the window size. So here I'll assume window size. Okay, window size 2. Okay, assume that window size is 2. Okay, so how the window size is 2, how it will look like, this one and this one. Okay, so you can just type here as 1 and there you can type here it as 2. So totally 2 frames. So this is window size. Okay, sender window. Okay, so what I'm trying to tell here, sender is able to send frames. So how many frames? So frame 1 you can send, and frame 2 you can send at a time. Okay, all this depends on Okay, again I'll repeat, sender can send frames at a time. How many frames? 2 frames at a time. That is frame 1 and frame 2. Why he can send frame 1 and frame 2 at a time? Because the sender window is 2-year. Window size is 2-year. So you can send only 2 frames at a time. So now what happens? This frame will be, what happens? Suppose if I tell you here, so this starts moving like that. So as I, this one you can see frame 1 and frame 2. Okay, so this is what it is. So what happens? This starts moving. So from the sender it will start moving, then it will reach the receiver side. At the same time, can sender send the next frame? Yes, sender can send the next frame, that is frame 3 also he can send. Okay, here I can write frame 3 and frame 4 he can send together, because window size is only 2-year. So now we can send. Now receiver has received that frame 1 and frame 2. Once he receives that one, so what this fellow will do? This fellow will send an acknowledgement. Okay, it will send an acknowledgement. So that acknowledgement will move from the receiver to the sender, and this acknowledgement for frame 1 and 2. Okay, this is how the communication is happening. So in order to overcome the problem of your stop and wait protocol, where you can send 1 frame at a time, here in sliding window protocol you can send more than 1 frame, but it all depends on the your window size. If the window size is 2, means as the example shown here, you can send 2 frames at a time. So 2 frames is sent from sender to receiver. Receiver will receive that one, okay, and then send an acknowledgement. A single acknowledgement will be sent. That acknowledgement is called as single acknowledgement for 2 frames is called as cumulative acknowledgement. Cumulative acknowledgement. Okay, cumulative acknowledgement, that is called as cumulative acknowledgement. Okay, then you can send immediately, you can send the next frame 3 and 4 at one time, then for that you will get an acknowledgement. So this process continues. So this is called as sliding window protocol. This whatever I explained here, the same thing is applied for your program also. Okay, and then since the name sliding window, okay, so that one I have shown in your the slide explanation was there. No, there you can see there. Okay, so I'll clear that. Now we'll go with the program explanation next. Okay, next we'll go with the program explanation. Okay, so we'll start with the first line. The first line starts with stdio.h, that you know. Then the second line starts with time.h, which is nothing but the random time, that random value that is generated from your system, which is nothing but windows.h. And you know RTT also. RTT is called as what? RTT is nothing but round trip delay time. So round trip delay time. This is already explained in your stop and wait protocol, which is nothing but the time taken from sender to receiver to send the frame, okay, to reach the frame to the receiver. Then for that frame to send an acknowledgement from receiver to the sender, and acknowledgement will reach the sender. So the total time, what is the total time for that one? Okay, so for the year, the time value mentioned here is equal to 5 year. So what happens here? So if I draw it here, so if I draw for you here, so what happens here? So it will be, if I make it equal timing between from sender to receiver and receiver to sender, it will be how much? 2.5 second. And this one again 2.5 second. This is sender and this is receiver. Okay, hope you followed, I think. Okay, next we'll go with, as I told you, if you are going with a sliding window protocol, before sending the frame you should know what is the window size. Okay, so that is mentioned here. So we'll enter into the main function. Inside the main function it starts with the window size. So that's why I told, if it is a sliding window protocol, before sending the frames from the sender, where it can send more than one frame, it all depends on the window size. So that is window size. And I, to increment the number of frames, and F is nothing but to define the total frames. Okay, total number of frames. And this is to enter frames, each frames, frame 1, frame 2, frame 3, like that, to enter into an array. It has the capacity of holding 50 frames here. Okay, that depends on your number of frames here. Next, printf enter window size. So what you will do means you'll start giving the values here. Okay, we'll start giving the values here. So window size, what I'll give means, to same example what we have taken, window size is equal to 2. So you can see here, you need enter window size and it will scan it as window size is equal to 2. Next, enter the number of frames to transmit. So it is your wish how many frames you want to transmit it, but only 2 frames at a time will be transmitted at a time. Okay, so how much number, if you want 1000 you can transmit 1000, if you want whatever it is, but depending on the window size only the frames will be transmitted at a time. Okay, now only 2 frames can be transmitted at a time, but how much ever frames you can have it. So here for example I'll have 5 frames. Okay, and the scan of, okay, so it will scan it as 5. Next, this complete thing, printf enter percentage d frames for I is equal to 1, I less than or equal to f. F is nothing but total number of frames. Here you can see here f, if I want to show you here, so this f is nothing but total number of frames. So this is equal to, okay, it is 5. Okay, 5 here. So this is compared with here. So what happens, so each and every frame you are writing it in an array. Okay, so what you will be writing here, you will be writing it as, okay, frame 1, frame 2, frame 3, frame 4, frame 5. This is how it will be entered. Okay, so hope you are getting, I think. We'll move on to the next line. Okay, so what this says, printf, just a statement it is, after sending percentage d frames. So how many frames depending on the window size. At each stage, sender waits for acknowledgement. What it says means depending on the window size. Now the window size is 2. So you will send 2 frames at a time and you will wait for the acknowledgement. Who's waiting for the acknowledgement? Sender. So sender is telling I'll send 2 frames at a time and next I'll wait for the acknowledgement. That is the meaning of this one. Okay, just a statement sending frames in the following manner. Okay, now the actual logic starts here. So now initially I is equal to 1, I less than or equal to f. Now I less than or equal to f will write here. So what is I here? I here I can write it as I is equal to 1 here. Okay, now 1 less than or equal to f. F is how much? 5 here. Okay, so now it will compare here. Okay, 1 mod window size. Window size, you know that 2 you are given. So is it not equal to 0? Is it not equal to 0? Okay, so this is how, is it not equal to 0? So whether this condition satisfies, this condition 1 not equal to 0 satisfies, because 1 mod 2 is 1. So 1 is not equal to 0. Okay, so now what happens here, this, so it will enter into the if statement. Now this statement will be executed. So what this statement will print, this statement will print frame 1. Okay, this statement will print frame 1. Okay, now sender as send frame 1. Okay, sender as send frame 1. Okay, hope it is clear. We'll move on to the next this one. So we are at this point. Okay, sender has sent frame 1 now this statement will not be executed. This else statement will not be executed because the window size is 2 here. So he wants to send in another frame 2. Until then you will not wait for acknowledgement. So because sender is capable of sending 2 frames, now the sender has sent only frame 1. Now he is capable of sending one more frame, then only you'll wait for acknowledgement. Okay, so that's why this statement will not be executed. Now what happens here? Okay, here one more you have a one more, this one you have once again. Okay, here one flower bracket you have. Okay, so if I want to okay, there is one more flower bracket here. So what happens here? This closes here. So again this moves further. Again I'm repeating here. So frame 1 is sent. So if I write it here, you'll understand. Here frame 1 is sent at present. Okay, at present frame 1 is sent. Now what happens? This complete statement, else statement, after else the statements will not execute. So here the bracket closes. Again it will go back to the first. That I'll show. So now we are clear here where we are. Frame 1 is sent at present. So there is one what is that? Flower bracket to be added here. Okay, one flower bracket to be added here. So we'll move on the top where it goes, we'll see. So again, what happens? I will be incremented by 2. Okay, I will be incremented by 2. So now I value is I is equal to 2 now. Now here 2 mod 2 not equal to 0. So what happens here? 2 mod 2 is 1. Sorry, 2 mod 2 is 0. So 0 not equal to 0. So this condition 0 is equal to 0. So what happens? This statement will not be. So it will come out of this one. So if I show you here, so what happens? This statement will not be considered. So this statement will not enter into this if loop because the condition is not satisfied. Okay, 0 is equal to 0. 0 is not equal to 0 it is. Okay, so the condition is not satisfied here, so it will not enter into this if statement. It will go into the else statement. So for else statement, what is there, we'll see. So it will enter into this one. So what happens here, we'll see. Now which is the frame? Now what is the I value? Now you can type it here. Frame 1 is already sent. Okay, now the next frame is frame 2 is sent. Okay, now 2 is sent. Now sender says that I am waiting for acknowledgement because his capacity is he can send 2 frames at a same time. So frame 1 is sent previously. Now frame 2 is sent. Okay, now he says that I am waiting for acknowledgement. So that is this part. Okay, now the similar case. Okay, what is that similar case? The similar case is if I consider a sender, if I consider a receiver, if I name this one as yes, and if I name this one as R, okay, then draw a link between sender to receiver and receiver to sender. Now if I am sending what, how many frames? Frame 1 and frames 1 and 2. Okay, frames 1 and 2. Now what happens here? Sender is told that I have sent frame 1 and 2. So now it is going. Okay, this, once again. Okay, frame 1 and 2. Okay, because the window size capacity is 2, so he is able to send 2 frames at a time. So Now what happened? Sender told that after sending 1 and 2, he's waiting for acknowledgement. So it started moving from sender. So there should not be any response from source or the receiver. So silently the frame is moving through the link to reach the receiver. So how much time it takes? It will take RTT by 2 time. So that is what it is shown here. That is sleep RTT by 2. Okay, sleep RTT by 2. So what is the RTT value here? RTT value was 5 there. So it will take 2.5 here, 2.5 second. Okay, so here what I can mention means 5 divided by 2. That is equal to 2.5. Okay, so hope you are getting it. Okay, next. Now frames 1 and 2 is present at the receiver. Okay, next what happens here? Acknowledgement. Okay, now what receiver says? Frames received. Okay, frames received, acknowledgement sent. Okay, that one. So now acknowledgement is prepared. Acknowledgement is prepared. Now what happens? Receiver has told that I have prepared the acknowledgement, I have sent it. Now it starts moving. During this time, sender should not speak, receiver should not speak. So it is silently moving. That is sleep. So how much time it takes? RTT by 2. So how much time it takes means RTT by 2. So that is 5 divided by, 2.5 second. So which is nothing but 5 divided by 2, that is equal to 2.5. Okay, now once the acknowledgement reaches the sender, now the sender will speak. I have received the acknowledgement. Now you can send the next frame. This is where I can write. Okay, I can send the next frame, next set of frames. What is the next set of frames? The next set of frame is, okay, the program is written like that, but actually you can send simultaneously many frames. In this program, it is sent 2 frames are sent at a time, receive the acknowledgement, send the next set of frames. So the next set of frames is sending next set of frames. So that is frame 3 and 4. Okay, here you can write next set of frames 3 and 4. Okay, that is what. Okay, that is what it is expecting. Okay, so what happened here? So for the execution, now what happens? But how much frame you have? Totally 5 frames. So that 3 and 4 has to be transmitted now. So what happens here? Here, as I told you, there is one more bracket here. Okay, so one more bracket here. Okay, one more bracket. So what happens means again the same process continues here. So what happens here? 3. So it goes here. I is equal to 3 here. Okay, I is equal to 3 here. If I want I is equal to, I'll show for one, I is equal to 3 here. Okay, so what happens? 3 mod 2. 3 mod 2 is 1. So 1 not equal to 0. It is satisfied. Okay, so it is satisfied. So now what happens? Here I is equal to 3. And which frame is sent? Frame, okay, 3 is sent. Okay, next what happens? Again, this statement will not be executed. Okay, else statement will not be executed. Okay, so directly where it will go means, again it will go here. Here what happens here? Here I is equal to 4. Then what happens? 4 mod 2 is, the remainder is 0. So 0 not equal to 0. So now what happens here? This condition doesn't satisfy and this statement will not be executed. So where it moves to the this one. So here which frame? Here I can tell you frame 4 here, frame 4 here. Okay, so totally how many frames are sent here? 3 and 4 is sent. The next frame set of frame is frame 5 because totally you have how much? 5 frames. Now next set is only only frame 5 because we have only total number of frames is 5. So what happens here? Again, it goes back here. Here you have one more, this one. Okay. So it goes back here. So what happens here? I now see this one I'll explain. I is equal to 5. Okay. Now this one what happens? 5 mod 2 not equal to 0. So is the condition satisfied? Yes, 5 mod 2 is 1, 1 mod 0, 1 is not equal to 0. So what happens? This condition is satisfied. This condition is satisfied. So next, similarly, this condition is also satisfied. Okay, so what is the frame that you are receiving? Here, frame 5 you are receiving. Okay, so now I can show you here what happens here. This I can write it as frame 5. Okay, and this one, okay, is completely not accepted because this is satisfied. Okay, now here you have one more. So all the frames are completed. Okay, all 5 frames are completed. Okay, so now here I can write all 5 frames is completely transmitted. Okay, now what happens? It will come out of this loop. Okay, it will come out of this loop and then it will go to this line. Okay, so what happens here? Now here, what is this one? 5 mod window size 2, so not equal to 0. So what happens? The condition is satisfied here. Okay, now sender will tell, waiting for acknowledgement, because he has the capacity of sending 2 frames, 5 and 6, but total frame he has till the 5th frame only. So now sender will tell, waiting for acknowledgement. Then to reach the receiver, he takes RTT by 2. Then receiver will say frame received, acknowledgement is prepared and sent. To reach that acknowledgement to the sender, it will take another RTT by 2, that is 5 by 2, 2.5. And finally, sender says that acknowledgement is received. Okay, this is called as this is called as sliding window protocol. Okay, hope you are clear, I think. So the next, finally, what you'll do means we'll execute using code blocks. So code block. So same procedure, file, new, project, console application, go next, select C program. Then this is sliding window. Okay, give next. Then see that it is GNU GCC compiler, finish it. Then click on this plus source and click on this main, copy your, okay, copy the program. You need to type it, copy the program here. Okay, copy this entire thing. Okay, one changes you need to make. Okay, please look in here. Okay, one changes you need to make, I'll tell you. This bracket will come here. That's all. That changes you need to make. This bracket should come here. Okay. So what I'll do means this, I'll remove it and place it here. Okay, that's all. Okay, so this one is end of your function, main function. So save this, build, see to that any errors you'll get. You didn't get any error. Then run the program, give the window size, same thing, window size 2. Okay, just I'll maximize this for you. Window size 2. Enter number of frames. Enter number of frames. How many frames you entered? 5. Next, enter 5 frames. 1 space 2 space 3 space 4 space 5. So total frames. Okay. Then you can see here 1 and 2 together. Sender is sent, waiting for acknowledgement. Okay, you can see here 1 and 2. The sender has sent. Now he is waiting for acknowledgement. Receiver is saying frames received, acknowledgement sent. And once the receiver sends the acknowledgement, sender says that acknowledgement received, send the next set of frames. 3 and 4 is sent. Okay, sender waiting for acknowledgement. Receiver says that frames received, acknowledgement sent. The sender says that acknowledgement received, send the next set of frames. The next set of frames available is only 5. So 5th frame is sent, waiting. Now sender will say waiting for acknowledgement, frames received, acknowledgement sent, receiver says, and finally sender said, I have received the acknowledgement for 5. Okay, so this is the result for your sliding window protocol. Okay, thank you for listening to this video.